All right, if you're part of the Aptos Marathon ecosystem, you know all about the excitement around the APTM token. But with that excitement comes a huge question we all face. How can big holders make their moves without sending the price on a wild roller coaster that ends up hurting everybody? Well, today we're going to break down the exact over-the-counter or OTC strategy that's built to protect the chart and really lift up the entire community. And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of the problem. This quote just nails the tension you see in any growing crypto project, right? You've got your diehard believers, the holders, and then you've got people who understandably need to swap some out. But when those two forces clash in the wrong place, well, that's when you get some serious issues.
So this dilemma, it's really what we're digging into today. It's a classic situation, especially for a project like this, where the liquidity is still building up. It really sets the stage for the problems and the solutions we're about to cover. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why this is such a big deal. The root of the problem for AM right now comes down to something called DEX slippage. It's all about where you trade and how you trade when you're moving a large amount. The key idea here is DEX liquidity. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a pool of water. If you drop a tiny pebble into the deep end of the ocean, you barely see a ripple. But what happens if you throw a big boulder into a shallow kiddie pool? You get a huge, messy splash that soaks everyone. That splash, that's price slippage. To put that into perspective, APTM has a circulating supply of around $55 million. Now, that sounds like a lot, and for a young Layer 1 token, it absolutely is. But the liquidity on the decentralized exchanges, the depth of our pool is still growing. So right now, it's more like a lake than an ocean, which means it's super sensitive to those big splashes. So this begs the big question, right? What actually happens when someone decides to sell, say, $10,000 APTM tokens directly on a DEX? What are the real-world consequences, not just for them, but for every single person holding the token? And honestly, the answer, it's not pretty. First, you get these crazy price swings. The price you actually get for your tokens is way worse than what you saw on the screen. This, of course, tanks the public chart, which just kills momentum and spreads all that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, what we all call FUD. And the real irony, it makes it incredibly difficult for new, big investors to buy in without causing the exact same problem, but in reverse. It's a total lose-lose. Okay, enough of the bad news. What if there was a different way to do this? A tool that was designed specifically for this exact problem? Well, that brings us to the solution that many in the community are calling the game changer, OTC Fix.
And the solution is actually super simple when you think about it. You just have to use the right tool for the right job. You wouldn't try to hammer in a screw, would you? For making large trades in this kind of environment, the right tool is over-the-counter or OTC trading on a platform like OpenPlaza. Okay, let's make this dead simple. Let's put these two methods side by side. Imagine that same $10,000 APTM trade. On a regular DEX, we know what happens. High price impact, high slippage, and a nasty-looking chart. Not good at all. So what about on OTC? And now for the OTC side. Bam! The difference is just night and day. On OpenPlaza OTC, that exact same trade has zero impact on the public market price, it has zero slippage for the traders involved, and its impact on the chart is completely neutral. It literally solves every single one of the problems we just talked about. This is the whole ballgame right here. So you might be wondering, how is this even possible? It's not some kind of magic. It's just smart mechanics. OpenPlaza OTC basically creates a direct connection for a peer-to-peer deal. A buyer and a seller agree on a fixed price, and the trade happens between them, away from the public exchange. This is awesome because it adds real liquidity. Tokens are still changing hands, but it does it without dumping on the DEX and wrecking the chart. And you know what? There's this awesome psychological win, too. When the rest of the market sees these large transactions happening off-exchange, it doesn't create panic. Instead, it sends a super strong bullish signal. It's basically telling everyone that the big players are accumulating, that the whales are stacking for the long haul. So protecting the whole ecosystem, that's a fantastic reason to use OTC. But let's be real, there's also a what's in it for me angle, and it's a big one. The platform actually built in a direct financial incentive that makes this a complete no-brainer. First off, OpenPlaza just dropped their standard platform fee to a tiny 0.5%. That's already pretty great, but we can do even better. So how do we get that down? How do we get to zero? The answer is yes, we absolutely can, and it involves another key token in this ecosystem, $Sky. And believe it or not, getting to zero fees is super simple. Here's all you got to do. Connect your wallet to the platform, make sure you're holding at least $5,000 Sky tokens, and that's literally it. You'll see a little Sky badge show up on your listings, and just like that, you now have 0% platform fees when you create a sell order. Let's just break this down so it's crystal clear. If you're creating an order to sell and you're holding that $5,000 Sky, your fee goes from 0.5% straight down to zero, gone. Now, if you're a bounty creator, say you want to buy a big chunk, you still post that bounty with the standard fee. But as Sky holders come in and fill your order, you get those fee savings back. It's a win-win system that rewards everyone for supporting the ecosystem. All right, let's wrap this up and bring it all home. This whole thing isn't about telling people they can't sell. It's about educating everyone so we can do it in a way that helps the project instead of hurting it. It's all about choosing the right tool for the job. Because when we all make this choice, the payoff for APTM is huge. We're talking smoother, healthier charts, which means less FUD and way more confident holders. You create an environment that actually attracts big money instead of scaring it off, which helps build a much stronger price floor. And it all helps strengthen APTM's core identity as a deflationary gem by supporting those fee burns. Look, at the end of the day, it all boils down to one simple idea. The success of a project like this isn't just about the code. It's about what we, the community, decide to do. We are all building this thing together, brick by brick. So the power really is in our hands. The tools are right there. The choice between making a chaotic splash in a shallow pond or making a strategic move that makes the entire ocean deeper and stronger, that choice is up to us. So the question is, which tool will you choose?